Hello, everybody. It's our final soccer show of the week at BMR, and that means it's time for La Liga Primera. Martin Green alongside Matt Lawerence to break down 10 exciting games for you. But I found this a really difficult card, Matt. What do you think? Are you in agreement with me there?
Yes, I mean, in the past few weeks, I've had 3 or 4 or 5 selections for La Liga, and we've done pretty well. But yeah, this card is difficult, and I really chose just not to force anything. I'm not a capper that plays a ton of draws, and but I have that feeling that if you were to be one of those guys in this league this week, I think that you would probably find a way to make some profit here. I think that there's some draws on the cards.
Yeah, I can also see quite a lot of draws. There's a lot of delicately poised, evenly matched games between teams of similar ability, which occasionally the fixture schedule just throws up a quirky weekend like this, where a lot of very similar teams play against one another. But we will run through them all, and we will find a bit of value along the way, I'm sure. So the first game is on Friday night tonight. Mallorca coming up against Celta de Vigo. And Mallorca have a very strong home record. Teams do not fare particularly well when they head to the island of Mallorca. And this could be a bit of a tricky game for Celta Vigo, match. Are you leaning towards the home team here, or what are your thoughts on it?
Really, my thoughts are what Diego Aspas did last week was just brilliant stuff. I don't know if you saw it, Martin. So he got injured when he scored a goal, and he was one yellow card away from receiving a suspension. So he remembers like midway through his celebration to take off his jersey. So then he gets booked. So then he automatically misses this match, and then maybe he'll be like fully fit and ready to go after that. So I thought that that was just hilarious. But for this one here, it stinks that Aspas isn't going to be here because he is a quality goal scorer for Celta Vigo, and but I would be looking towards over 2 goals on the Asian handicap. I really don't know who's going to win, but a lot of these Mallorca matches, I mean, when you look at it, most of them are having over 2 goals in it. They won 2-1 to Atleti. There was a 0-0 to Getafe, but we know that Getafe generally play low-scoring matches. 3-1 against Rayo, 2-2 Elche, 1-1 Cadiz. And then when you're looking on the flip side, Celta Vigo get involved in a lot of high-scoring matches as well. The over 2 goals has cashed in the last 5, or so it's been 4-0-1. There's been one push in there. So yeah, I mean, you're getting that at -110 on an over 2 goals. That's where I'd be going on a Friday night.
Okay. Yeah, if I was going for this one, I would go for Mallorca, draw no bet. Very strong at home. That's where they get most of their points. I think Iago Aspas is a terrible miss for Celta. He's not just their top goal scorer, but he's also the glue that holds their attack together. His movement, the way he drags defenders out of position, creates space for his teammates to run into. Just don't think they're the same team without him. I know they've got some decent players up there like Santi Mina and Denis Suarez, but I think if you take him out, I'd become a lot less impressed by Celta. So yeah, I think Mallorca can get a result there. Not one of my official plays, but that's what I would go for if I had to. Okay, next up we have Espanyol versus Levante. I did initially pass on this one, but then I went back to it and how can I not bet on Espanyol? I know they're a newly promoted club coming up against more of an established team in this division, but 5 wins, 2 draws, and just 1 defeat out of 8 home games. Only conceded 4 times at home, so they're rock solid in Catalonia. Coming up against Levante, who are bottom of the league, still haven't won a single game this season. Lost 3/4 of their away games, and they've got the worst defensive record on the road as well. So this is shaping up for a Espanyol win for me, Matt. I know they've got a couple players out, but I think Raul de Tomar could have a good game. And yeah, I can just see a home win. So that's what I've gone for. What about you?
I agree. This is one that I quickly kind of glanced over. I looked at, I was like, yeah, Espanyol looked pretty good. I just didn't really dive in fully here, but I mean, I think some of the comments that you've made when you're looking at Levante, 5 straight away defeats. When you're looking at Espanyol, they haven't been beaten in their last 6 straight home clashes, in all comps. So they're a good home side. Levante don't travel well. I'm just kind of surprised at the prices. Why are they at plus money here? I feel like this should maybe be, just minus money slightly, like minus 110. And Levante are just in awful form. They're no Firth, but they're not looking that great. So yeah, I think that I would be with you. I would have to be with Espanyol or pass here.
Yeah, I guess it's because Levante, like you say, they are a decent team. They've been pretty good for the past couple of seasons, but their form has just fallen off a cliff this season. It's just not going right for them, lacking confidence, and yeah, I think Espanyol could stick the knife in. So it looks like a great price on a home win to me. That was one of my favourite bets from La Liga this weekend. Next up, we have Alaves versus Getafe. Two poor teams, both struggling. Alaves 17th, Getafe 19th, and this is not going to be a classic. I mean, they're not particularly entertaining teams. Getafe have only scored twice on the road all season. Levante are coming on a 2-game losing streak, both low on confidence. Ugh, who's going to win this battle of mediocrity, Matt?
I have no idea who's going to win this match, Martin. I really flip a coin. But the one thing that you could count on here would be probably low scoring. I mean, look at the last 3 head-to-heads. 0-0, 0-0, 0-0. I just don't see where the quality is. I would be looking at unders. You can probably find under 2 goals, and if it lands on 2, you would get a push. That's what I would assume this line is. I really didn't spend too much time on this match. I have no idea, and I really just don't want to get involved. It looks like the books have Alaves a slight favorite here. And let's see here. Yeah, I mean, it's not even at 2. Yeah, under 2 goals is pretty heavily juiced up at minus 140. So
yeah, under 2.5 goals is minus 250, which says a lot about what sort of game we're going to witness here, doesn't it?
It does, and it makes me think that it might actually be somewhat of a decent parlay piece. If you're really wanting to get involved in this match, I would. That's where I would go. I would go under 2.5 in a first leg, and then try and combine it with something else that you like elsewhere in Europe.
Indeed, but yeah, just don't really like this game at all. So we'll just slide straight along to Valencia versus Elche, or Elche, however you like to say it. Valencia have been decent this season under Bordalas. He's really improved them. They're unbeaten in 5 games. I'm pretty impressed with the work that he's done there. Elche are just kind of hanging in there above the relegation zone. But this does look like it should be a home win. I guess goals are quite interesting, Matt. Both teams, the scores paid off in 11 out of 16 Valencia games so far this season. And Elche have been pretty good in attack. They're coming off a 3-1 win. What do you think? Both teams to score?
That's the only way that I could go, just continuing to ride this Valencia kind of both teams to score train. And I mean, you're getting it at plus money, 2.07. That makes a ton of sense to me. But again, it's just not a match that I really have a lot of feel for. It's on the telly though here, and maybe it's something that I can really try and just have a watching brief on these two teams and try to gain some information for the weeks to come.
On the telly, that's like our dearly departed Flash used to love saying that, didn't he? On the telly. Okay, yeah, that sounds a good one. And this is what I mean about evenly matched teams coming up against one another. Getafe and Alaves evenly matched, and now we've got Athletic Club or Athletic Bilbao coming up against Sevilla. 2 of the tightest, most miserly defences in the league coming up against one another. Yes, Sevilla are the better team in general, but Athletic Bilbao have got home advantage. Sevilla had a nightmare in midweek against Salzburg, and they crashed out. They've crashed out of that group, which is bad news for them. I mean, they're doing very well in La Liga, Matt. They're second in the table, 8 points behind Real Madrid with a game in hand. So maybe they can turn things around. But I don't like betting against Bilbao when they're playing at home. So easy pass for me. Did you go for anything?
This is an easy pass for me as well. I'd be looking towards unders here, but there's just no value on it whatsoever. I mean, you're looking at an under 2 on the Asian handicap. These are the two best defenses in the league. Where is the star quality up top for these two teams? It just doesn't make a lot of sense, really, for me to get involved in this. I mean, Sevilla are in a good way. Bilbao have, they beat them home and away last season, though. So they've done a number on Sevilla. Now Sevilla get to go to their favorite competition, right? They're back into the Europa League.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's probably the best for them. It's a competition that they feel like they'll have a really good chance at going and making a deep run in. And I mean, look at Sevilla. Just looking at kind of some trends, they haven't defeated Athletic Club. They've only done it once in their last 11 away meetings. They don't travel well here at all. And Athletic Club, we know, are good. They're a good home side here. So for me, this is a complete stay away. I'd be looking towards unders. Maybe it's a combo bet, Martin, with the Getafe Alaves. You try to take a rare bet for me. A rare look would be under 2.5 goals in both games, or even stretch it to like under 3 goals in both games and find something else to pick on. I don't see four goals in these games.
No, I don't either. They're really missing a Nesri up front. He's been very good for them. They've really lacked cutting edge in attack. I think I'm done with Sevilla. I think I'm just gonna not bet on them again until next season. They were really good to me last season. Made a ton of money on Sevilla, and this season it's all gone wrong. They're on the naughty step. You're on the naughty step, Sevilla. Okay.
They're on the naughty step though. That they're in second place.
Oh, I know, but they've really screwed me over in the Champions League in that group. Every time I thought they could go and get a result. I mean, I did go for Salzburg to get out of that group, so my futures bet paid off. But you've got to go and beat teams like Salzburg if you're Sevilla. I know Salzburg are good in attack, but Sevilla have just got quality players all over their midfield. They're such a good team on their day, and they're perennial disappointment to me this season. So
I think that they lack some just mental fortitude with some of their defenders. They go in and make rash challenges. They just not high IQ footballers, really, in a sense. Like, I hate to say it, but it's just kind of the truth. They make some error, just really bad errors, and and they cost them in the Champions League. They definitely should have had enough quality to get through that group, and they failed miserably.
The fact that, I mean, I had Salzburg finishing second. I thought that would happen, but I had Sevilla winning that, not Lille. Lille have been terrible in Liga this season. It doesn't speak volumes about the quality. We're gonna go down now. I mean, who had Villarreal beating Atalanta in the Champions League last night? I mean, that was a shock. And what does this say about the quality of Serie A? I mean, everyone loves Serie A because they're open games, entertaining, 4-3, 4-4. But Milan finished bottom of their group. Atalanta have crashed out despite being the form team in Italy. It doesn't convince me that Serie A is this powerhouse in world football anymore.
And then Juventus had a cakewalk. That group was so easy. Yes, it was impressive that they topped it. They got one good result, at home against Chelsea, and then Chelsea falters there at the end. But come on, I mean, that group was a joke.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm unconvinced. I think if Juventus come up against the Premier League heavyweight in the round of 16, they're going home.
They don't have the defensive qualities in that league yet. They don't have these like high profile defenders really, and it's costing. I mean, look at teams like Roma. I mean, look at Jose Mourinho, a great defensive minded manager that really can't keep clean sheets. I mean, that's why Napoli are looking good, because they have, Kalidou Koulibaly. At least he's somewhat world class in defense. But yeah, I mean, that's why we love the league, though. It's just full of entertainment.
It is full of entertainment. It really is. And yeah, like perhaps we've got some more intelligent, more astute footballers and some stronger defenders in La Liga, and that's why we're seeing tighter, low-scoring games. And when it comes down to it in Europe, they can turn it on. So we've got Villarreal. I mean, the game was delayed by a day, so they had to play last night. So fatigue could be a problem for them. They've got to turn things around pretty quickly to take on Rayo of Vallecano. But but Rayo, I love saying because I'll say Vallecano, innit? Vallecano, but when they say Vallecano, I'm just going to call them Rayo from now on. Rayo get all their points at home, all their wins at home. So it kind of puts me off both teams. I would be inclined to go for a straight Villarreal win. I know that they've got a bit of squad depth. I think they can do it, but the odds aren't great. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean they've only won one of their last 8 in La Liga. I mean they're not playing well in this league. They've been able to throw together some really good performances, though. I love how Villarreal have the squad that has got like a few of these Premier League past players that some of their teams didn't want anymore, like Alberto Moreno, who's the midfielder from Watford, the guy from Arsenal as well. I'm kind of blanking on some of their names, but
Etienne Capoue and
Capoue.
yeah, yeah, and they've got they got Danny Parejo from Valencia who plays in their midfield sometimes. So Francis Coquelin is the former Arsenal player. Great.
That was who I was thinking of from Arsenal, and then they've got Unai Emery, this like Premier League reject as well. So all of them have been able to, play somewhat decently for this side, and I mean they qualified for the Champions League last season, and they were able to get through the round of 16. So I love seeing that. I love seeing some of those squad players, go off to this league and then start for these clubs and do well. But yeah, this is again a match that if Villarreal had a full fresh week of prep, I would probably be interested. Like you mentioned, the odds aren't great. They probably win this. Hopefully that away performance in Bergamo can really spark some life into this team. In the next 2 months, maybe Villarreal will become a bet-on team before that round of 16. They can take some momentum. So they'll be a team that I'll be really paying attention to and maybe trying to find a way to back here in the coming weeks, but it's not going to be this one.
Yeah, they've got a tough game coming up against Real Sociedad next weekend, but then they got back-to-back games against Aves and Levante. That could be where they really start to pick up momentum. So yeah, maybe we'll go for them there. They're normally an unders team. You can normally rely on under 4.5 goals in Villarreal. So I would go for that. If I was going for anything in this game, I would go for a Villarreal win. And for more value, I'd throw in under 4.5 goals because I know last night they did win 3-2, but that's because Atalanta are just a crazy team. You don't normally see games like that when Villarreal are involved. Okay, next up we have Osasuna versus Barcelona. And Barcelona are playing Europa League football for the first time in 17 years after Bayern put them to the sword in midweek. They also lost their last La Liga game to Real Betis. So the honeymoon period for Xavi is well and truly over. He desperately needs a win. And perhaps Osasuna could prove to be an obliging opponent because they're winless in their last 6 games and they are tumbling down the table. So do we think Barcelona can go to Osasuna and get a win, Matt, or are we staying clear?
I think they can, but there's something in me that also wants to take Osasuna as well. I just don't. I think that the Europa League is actually the perfect situation for Barcelona, really. If they would have gone into the Champions League, they would have gotten embarrassed in the round of 16 unless they got some lucky draw. This is a competition that, the young players of Barcelona need. Xavi needs this as a manager. I remember back, when Jurgen Klopp took over for Liverpool in that first season in the Europa League. And it's really nice. I mean, you get to see what you have. And I think that Xavi is a long-term play here for Barcelona. So I don't think he's going to come under any fire no matter what really happens this season. And just try and figure out what he's got there. And so I think it's actually a really big benefit. I know it seems not because they've never really been in that comp. But, yeah, they don't travel well. I mean, here's a good example. Osasuna, unbeaten at halftime in their last 14 home La Liga matches. You could find a way to get Osasuna at plus a quarter probably in the first half here. That's where I'm going. I'm not betting on this Barcelona side. I can't do it. I won't do it. Osasuna a couple seasons ago were able to scrap away 4 points against Barcelona. I still think that that's the same type of team that they have here. Just not a ton of quality. They really need to get like Dembele firing in the coming weeks because he's kind of their crucial piece. Like what's going to happen with Dembele? So I've spoken just a bunch of nonsense. I feel like, Martin, I really have no feel for this game at all. Yeah, pass. It probably could have been summed up with just a quick one word: pass.
It's never nonsense, Matt. It's always very insightful. Thank you. Call me crazy, but I'm going for Barcelona. I think this is a game in which they can finally pick up a win that kind of lifts the mood a little bit and galvanizes them somewhat. These records have to come to an end sooner or later, and Osasuna's recent form has just been poor, very poor. They've also they've only got, what is it? They've got one win out of 8 home games this season. They've got a pretty poor home record. So I think this could be the game where Barcelona get their season back on track, start climbing the table. And I like them to win this game. So I've got them at, what price did I get? Good price. Got minus 109. Yeah, worth a go, I think. I did find it really difficult though. Like I'm not overly keen on this La Liga card at all. So it was slim pickings basically to come up with tips for this show. Again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. 2 very evenly matched teams coming up against one another. Real Betis versus Real Sociedad. Betis had a midweek game, but they rested players against Celtic. They should be ready for this one. They were terrific against Barcelona last weekend, and they are sitting pretty in the league. They're doing very well. They are 3rd in the table with 30 points. And they've just overtaken Real Sociedad by 1 point. Real Sociedad running out of steam a little bit, but they're a good team as well. Could be a draw, Matt. What do you think?
I'm going with goals here. This is my first bet of the week. Sometimes, Martin, it's about quality over quantity. And I believe that this match sets up for goals. I was on the Sociedad PSV over 2.5 yesterday. I got a nice 90th minute goal in that one to see Sociedad put up 3. And I think that's huge for Sociedad because they haven't scored in their last 3 La Liga matches. So to be able to throw 3 up in the Europa League, that feels pretty good. Betis are in a good way. I mean, they're playing some crazy matches. I know that, like we mentioned, Barcelona kind of rested some players last week, which really killed the play that I loved last week. And I'm going back to a similar vein here. I'm going to the overs. And then when you look at the head-to-heads between these two, most of these matches, 5 out of the last 6 have seen over 2.5. A lot of both teams to scores in there. Actually, 5 of the last 5 in the league. One of them was in the cup. And the one in the cup went under 2.5. The last 5 in the league, all over 2.5 goals. I'm getting it at a plus price. Pretty shocking to me. I thought this would be minus 110 on both sides. You're giving me plus 105, plus 110 in that range on an over 2.5. I am in.
Okay, great. Like it a lot. Going hard. I mean, Betis are very good going forwards, aren't they? But they are leaky at the back. So yeah, sounds good. Don't like the outrights on that one at all. So goals is definitely the way to play it. Okay, final game. We have Cadiz versus Granada. And if this was a year or 2 ago, easy. Granada to win. But they've really regressed quite badly. Cadiz on a 3-game losing streak, sitting in the relegation zone. Actually, the worst defensive record in the league now. So could be an opportunity for Granada to get an away win. What do you think, Matt, for this Monday night game?
Well, this is an easy swerve. We're missing the Atleti Real graphic, so we'll have to still go to the best match in La Liga after this one and talk about it. But yeah, this match, I can sum this one up in one word: pass. I have no real feel, and I'm just going to leave this one alone. Another watching brief for me.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Okay, yeah, not sure what happened there, but there is one huge game taking place this weekend in La Liga Primera, and it is Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid on Sunday at the Bernabeu. It's the penultimate game, so it should have been in between Betis and Cadiz games. I apologise for missing that. This is obviously the biggest game of the weekend. Real Madrid are on a 9-game winning streak. They are 8 points clear at the top of the table, but they're coming up against Atletico Madrid, who are the reigning champions, who picked up a big win over Porto in midweek, which could fire them up a bit. And these teams are often involved in a lot of tight clashes. So what do you like for this one, Matt Lawerence?
So I think that Atletico are going to ride the high from that Porto away win. I mean, you see the dugout, the dressing room, basically afterwards. I saw some videos. I mean, they're just so fired up. What a way to get through in that tough group. Nothing better really than having that come down to the 6th match, the last match on the road, in a place where they've only lost one time all season, and they get the job done. So, and Real, like you mentioned, very strong. Atleti have still been leaky. They've conceded in their last 3 in all comps. They've been known to get into some higher scoring matches, really. I mean, and I'm going with both teams to score yes here. I think that Atleti can pose some type of problem for Real Madrid. I eventually do think that Real Madrid will probably win this match. But yeah, I think that both teams to score yes, -120. It makes some sense for me. I think that Madrid are starting to not become this like fully defensive minded squad. I think that they're a lot more top heavy than some of us, give them credit for. I mean, they've got real quality up top, and I think that it should shine enough here to be able to score. And I definitely think Real scores. So 1-1, 2-1 for me, kind of a match.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is always an easy game for me. This is always the easiest game of the season. I always bet on the draw every time Atletico play Real Madrid, and it's actually paid off in 6 out of the last 9 meetings between these games. You have to go back to, I think it's 2016 for the last time Atletico Madrid actually beat Real Madrid in the league. They've lost to them 3 times since then, but they've drawn 6 times, and you always get great odds on the draw. I've got +257 on it this time around. So I've made some really good profit by betting the draw every time these two play. Not going to change it now. Real Madrid are the better team. They're in good form, but Atletico always raise their game against Real Madrid, and they are the masters of playing well when their backs are against the wall, grinding out results, battling their way to draws. So I'm going back in, draw in this one.
It's amazing just looking at the head-to-heads, Martin. I mean, in all comps, 7 of the last 10 have seen a draw. Atleti hasn't won one of those. Atletico Madrid haven't beaten Real Madrid in forever.
No, they got terrible.
2017, May of 2017. That is pretty wild stuff. I like that draw look. I think this is a 1-1.
Yeah, they often finish 1-1. Or there's been a couple of 0-0s over the years too. They're always tight.
I have had that one, Martin. I like the draw. +250. That feels pretty good.
That's what I'm going for. I never go too hard with my stakes, but yeah, it's been a very profitable bet over time. I can't see Atletico winning it, to be honest. If you were doing a parlay, you could chuck in Real Madrid draw no bet, or double chance there. Yep. But yeah, I can see this one finishing all square. Okay, so on that note, to the wizard in the control room, time for the picks, please. We'll read them out. Yeah, just 3 for me. As I say, really tricky card in Spain this weekend. I've gone for Espanyol to win at +108, Barcelona to pick up an away win at -109, and the draw in that Rayo Atletico game got +257.
For me, it's both teams to score in the Real Atleti match, and hopefully it ends 1-1, so Martin can catch that +257 draw. I might have to sprinkle a little something on that. When you look at the head-to-head, 7 of the last 10 in all comps, that's a pretty crazy hit rate for the draw. And then I'm on Betis Sociedad over 2.5 at +110. Hopefully the chaotic midweek matches, that they had over 2.5 goals and can kind of continue. And when you look at the head-to-heads between them, there's been goals.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Matt. Thank you, Mr. Wizard. And Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for watching. As I say, it's a really difficult card in La Liga this weekend. I think we found a few good bets, but I would really urge you to mainly stick to England, Italy, and Germany because there's some fantastic games in the Bundesliga, in Serie A, and the Premier League this weekend. Hope you all have a great weekend. Hope we all get lots of winners, and we'll see you back here next week for more of the same. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, guys.